doesn't love food, like dinner and a film. That's amazing.
So good.
And then on October 30th, we have another screening in Edmonton. So go to albertadocumentary.com, buy your tickets today. They're really reasonably priced, and I think there's going to be a few Rebels at a couple of these events, so you don't want to miss it. And there you can also watch the trailer and sign up for Rebel News Plus, because it will be going on Rebel News Plus in the future. I think that's it.
I think you nailed that.
I think I nailed it.
She's the best.
Alrighty, guys. So let's start things off with...
Send us your chats.
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
what the heck?
We will read your chats on air if they're $5 or more.
Yes.
Send in your super chats. I don't know what they're called on Odyssey, but I'm sure they're super.
They're called... no, I got nothing.
They're
Rocket chats.
Odyssey's your chat on the screen. And
Nailed
get
it.
her. And we'll have a little chat. It's really nice to interact with the audience.
It's so
especially
nice.
when they're compliments.
Yeah. But it's fun when they're mean, too, so go for it. Godspeed.
God, yeah.
Try
me.
Speaking of God, we got this fun little clip from Kanye West.
The lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen. I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
The lanyard's still on.
Kanye being based.
Well, yeah, and we know that Planned Parenthood was founded by a white supremacist.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, and it was an eugenics operation to kill black people.
Specifically, they were put in low-income neighborhoods and like highly multicultural neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Specifically to keep the population white, as stated by the
Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but for me, if you have like more black baby being aborted, it's probably because of inflation, cost of life, a difficulty in the family, probably some problem with like, you know, the neighbor, probably in the black community as well. So probably if we have more investment in that community to help them with money, with like maybe more, I would say, it's sexual education or for being careful or
pregnancy
lot
centers.
of different, just a lot of different
activities
like
for
trouble, because it's not just like, it's just because we decide to kill more black baby. No, it's because you have a problem in that community that we should have being aware of it. And maybe more invest time and maybe money there. So for me, it's
aborting
like
them
mixing.
is just a simple solution.
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
You're right. There are a huge amount of infrastructural and like
issues,
demographic issues going on at play. But like the simplest solution is to just nip it in the butt and just kill the babies before they have a chance to become a problem or whatever.
Well, the problem is everything the government does is always a Band-Aid solution. They don't actually want to help black communities. If they wanted to, they would have already. It's like the same with Black Lives Matter, which is so exciting that Yee's been calling them out a lot more, because we know that they've raked in millions upon millions of dollars. And what has that money done to help any black person?
No, it's just the fact that it's saying like, okay, I agree with that Kanye West, that saying like I'm pro-life, but pro-life, it's just showing the surface of the amount of trouble and problem that is under. It's like you're just like showing the surface of an iceberg when you don't show what is under the water, you know?
Yeah, but it is the pro-life movement that is actually doing outreach, and like they're the people who are volunteering at pregnancy centers. They're the people who are donating their goods to these single mothers or soon-to-be single mothers who are choosing life. So, I mean, I agree with you. This is such a huge issue, and I think more needs to be done to help these communities and to make it possible for people to be able to choose life. We're not obviously there yet in society, but I just appreciate that he's unapologetic about this.
Yeah, well, and not to be dramatic, because, but it almost feels like when Hitler is saying the best way to solve Germany's problems is to eradicate a certain group of people. And I don't think, I'm not making the parallel in terms of like a black population, but it's like, because there's all these problems in society, what we can do is just eliminate the problem, which is the person. And it's like, maybe like you're saying, Alexa, there's probably a better solution, which is like investing in the community. So if you have more births than you're used to because people are being more pro-life, then it's like, oh, we actually need to solve these problems, instead of just being like, oh, well, there's not that many people that this problem affects anymore because we're aborting all these babies. Like, no, let's let them be born. Let's let the issue come to a front. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but then eventually we can be like, look at all these people, they need help, and we can invest in those people instead of just eliminating them.
Yeah, but sometimes I just use like the parallel in, I probably have mentioned it in one of the live stream, but like in animal life, this is happening too. Like with bird example, when they are a certain amount of eggs inside of them and they see that they have no enough food or anything for like taking care of as much baby, they would just resorb the eggs inside them and use it for their own energy. So they actually kill their own baby because they have not enough food.
Yeah, but birds are dumb, though.
Well, also,
like,
you can't
you call someone a bird brain for a reason.
Yeah, and I don't think we can compare animals to people. I think
but it's something that is happening.
I didn't know that.
Life.
Yeah, it is interesting.
That is an interesting fact. But
birds.
But birds are stupid, and we shouldn't look to them for an example.
No, but it's just like, like the female like can feel like you have a danger that if she have as much baby, or they would die, or she would die. And I don't compare, like I don't do the parallel, but it's the same thing. Like if, like example, if I was a poor woman and unfortunately I begin pregnant, I would be like, if I have a baby, my baby would die anyway, or I'm going to die because I don't have any money to afford a baby. It's not all the same like case. Like you have so many different range of like case. Some people get like abortion as like a pregnancy
contraceptive.
like stopper.
Yeah,
exactly. And this is actually not okay. Like this should not happen at all. And but like the fact that some people like have this really big problem that appear, and it was not something that they were expecting in their life. Sometimes like, contraceptive, like it's broken, not working, or something is happening like that. So, you have so many range of different reasons that is, I think it's beginning to be really difficult for one person to really say, oh, this is not okay, or this is okay. I think it's not my job to decide. I think it's more probably a specialist or doctor to decide what is right or not,
Yes, and maybe this kind of leads into our next article. Apparently, the FBI has raided the home of a pro-life advocate who prayed and sang outside of an abortion business. Seems like a very extreme reaction to someone exercising their First Amendment right.
Yeah, like to go off what you were just saying, Alexa, like people should have, like I don't think the government should tell people what's right and wrong in terms of abortion. Yeah. Like I personally am against it, but I also am a libertarian. So it's like, it's a hard thing for me to wrestle in my mind. Like, should the government say absolutely not, you cannot, or should they be pushing out on people? But in this situation, this man is getting raided by the FBI for being pro-life. It's like, that's literally the government saying, no, you cannot be pro-life.
And using FBI resources, like, aren't there other criminals that the FBI could maybe be investigating?
They be investigating aliens? Like,
so
Scully? Hello.
Just to read from the article. So the FBI raided the home of another pro-life advocate, this time targeting a pro-life man and his family after he prayed and sang outside an abortion business last year. This is the second time in recent weeks that the FBI has raided the home of a pro-life family, with the first case involving pro-life advocate Mark Hoik, whose family was raided after an altercation at a Philadelphia abortion business last year where he accidentally pushed down a man who was verbally accosting his 12-year-old son. Yikes.
Yeah, like, okay, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt here where they're saying he accidentally pushed a guy. Let's say maybe that's a little conjecture. Maybe he intentionally pushed someone.
If someone's yelling at your kid,
Yeah.
you're probably going to defend your
but
kid.
let's even say, like,
Yeah.
this guy shouldn't have pushed that person.
Yeah, he shouldn't
Does
have.
that feel like something the FBI needs to raid your house over?
I don't think so.
Like, it's he pushed someone. Like, okay, that's not great. That's assault.
Yeah,
In
well,
its worst
BLM
scenario,
burned
it's
things
assault.
down to the ground all summer.
But like a
so-
simple one-on-one assault, and then your home is raided by the FBI.
Yeah.
It feels targeted.
It feels political.
Yeah.
Feels a little political.
I don't know. What do you think, Alexa?
I don't know. I will have a hide in my backyard.
Yeah. We all need a bunker for if the FBI
Yeah.
comes to our house. Thank God we live in Canada and we'll just have whoever, the RCMP,
I guess so.
and
Yeah.
they'll be
We
like,
know the
they'll be like,
RCMP has it
knock,
out
knock,
for-
knock, come out, eh? We know you're
I
in
have
there.
enough for RCMP.
RCMP really likes Alexa, so
Yeah,
maybe.
they've got your number, Alexa.
Yes, they do. All right, guys. Well, this has been an interesting chat. Let's move on to an ad.
Ooh.
Summer. Summer is over. Some are even saying it might never return. According to the Prime Minister, this is no time to be joking around. In Switzerland, they're saying you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. German guy. Germany. Germany never did anything wrong. Not that I can recall. Just like the doc said, don't ever go to 2020.
Find out in 30 years!
Dr. Fauci. Yeah, it must have been him.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines.
If freedom isn't free, but it has the word free in it, is freedom dumb?
Freedom have you lost? What freedom have you lost? Tell me a freedom you've lost. I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 days.
Maybe it is, but at times like these, we can only look to our leaders to get us out of it. RebelNewsStore.com.
That was jarring.
What? Did we just... I feel like I'm on drugs.
He's such a creative soul.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say creep.
No. Kat and I
Just
do
the
a lot
hat.
of fun skits with Andrew, so make sure you guys
Yeah,
go to
that
our
was
YouTube
funny.
channel to check it out. And go to the store right now. If you use code FALL at rebelnewsstore.com, you can buy 2 shirts, get 1 free. It's a great deal. Maybe you'll buy some of the shirts that Andrew was trying to promote.
Buy one for, like, it's Christmas soon.
Yeah, so
Stock
soon.
up. It's
Yeah.
time, you guys.
Yeah. And it's a great deal, especially with, inflation. It's great to save a
Guys,
buck where you
gotta
can.
save a buck.
All right, speaking of bucks, child rapist awarded $2.5 million in legal settlement over gender-affirming care access, according to Redux. Hui.
Okay, so I'll just read a...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So a violent sex offender has been awarded... Okay, you kind of already said that. Basically, this guy was incarcerated for child rape. He's claiming that before he was incarcerated, he started identifying as a woman, and therefore, since he's now incarcerated, that it's the state's job to pay for his name change, legal name change, gender-affirming surgery, and, to be transferred to a women's prison.
Convenient.
They chose not to. Like, I guess, so I'll read this. In 2018, U.S. District Judge B. Lynn Windmill ruled that Edmo, the rapist, was at risk of irreparable harm without the surgery and ordered the state pay for it. The state appealed, with one of their lawyers noting that the medical professionals treating Edmo agreed that he did not qualify for the surgery due to his uncontrolled mental health issues. The state's lawyer also said that Edmo had refused to participate in therapy to prep for the procedure. It's also important to note that this $2.5 million that he was awarded is actually to pay for the legal fees in his lawsuit. So it's kind of nice to know that he's not just getting like a cash bonus of $2.5 million, but he had like 7 lawyers suing the state, wasting everyone's time so that he can be transferred to a women's prison.
Well, for me, it's like, imagine your child was raped by this person and now your taxpayer dollars are going toward their legal settlement. Like, that's just horrifying. So horrifying.
And not just that, also his surgeries.
Yeah.
Like, he gets to now live as a woman.
Yeah, it sounds
And
like
we're
this
paying for it.
person is playing the system a
little bit. And also he had an ex-boyfriend who claims that he never identified as a woman before incarceration, which goes against what he said, and that his ex-boyfriend actually alleges that he raped and beat him. So...
But, like, you have children sometimes, like in a woman prison. You know that the woman can keep the children
baby.
for a while. So for me, it's just like you put the woman in danger. In the same time that our money is going to be waste for that case, that nobody probably wants to fight against that, because probably more than 99.9% of the people like think that like this is actually outrageous to see like a sex offender fighting to go in a woman prison.
Yeah.
Like, how does this person feel as though they should have the right to this? Like,
The entitlement.
Like, that is so narcissistic and sociopathic. I cannot believe that we're even humoring this person. Like, you literally raped a child. Like, to hell with you.
Literally.
I don't know. It's
So
just
actually, it doesn't want to apologize. It doesn't feel like he did something wrong.
Exactly.
At that point, he say, "Oh, you know what? I should like deserve to go to a woman prison." But what about what you just did? What about the fact that some of the women can be scared and anxious to be around you, and to put like the feeling, the life, and the place like under like your freaking like regime tyranny of like sex offender that you don't know what you're gonna do and are you gonna act there.
Yeah, especially because no matter how many years you've been on hormones, if you're a biological male, you're still going to be bigger than a woman. Like, you still pose a threat to a
Stronger,
woman. You're
more
stronger.
aggressive.
Exactly. So it's very scary, and we shouldn't ignore biology. I mean, we talk about this, the three of us talk about this endlessly.
Yeah.
But it's always just shocking.
It's every day. There's another one.
Yeah, but exactly. We will have like one case per like week now of a man that's asking for the woman prison, and nobody say maybe you have a problem there.
And it's never a woman who identifies as a man who wants to go to a men's prison. I wonder why.
Yeah, no. And it's also like, it's just a new form of misogyny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, men are beating women and trampling on women. Oh, no, we changed that. That's illegal now. Oh, but now legally they're allowed to beat and trample on women because if they call themselves a woman.
Yeah, it's
but
just,
they're not. But they're not a woman. But they just say they are. It's like, how is that not misogynistic?
No,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. All right, speaking of crazy, J.K. Rowling goes to war against Mermaids, a pro-trans organization.
Yeah, so I didn't know what Mermaids was, so I went on Wikipedia. It says Mermaids is a British charity and advocacy organization that supports gender variant and transgender youth. They also provide inclusion and diversity training. Cute.
And I guess that includes pedophiles?
Yeah.
So do you want to take it?
Sure.
Okay.
So the CEO? Oh, sorry. So apparently there's a pedophilia trustee who's sorry, what am I saying? Like
an apologist.
Yeah, sorry. There's a Mermaids organization trustee who's a pedophilia apologist, and she's what's her name? J.K. Rowling. I was going to say J.R.R. Tolkien. Sorry, guys, my brain. J.K. Rowling is saying it's basically just like the Jimmy Savile case, where he had a charity that did all these things for children, and it turns out he was raping children. And it's like, let's not repeat something that we let happen for like 20, 30 years, and we're all shocked when it came to light. Like, we can see that this is a possibility now, and people are like, la, 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 you're a bigot. Like, she's just trying to protect children.
Yeah.
Once again, no one cares, though.
And she said, I note the genderists are now arguing that it doesn't matter that a pedophilia apologist was a trustee of a trans children's charity because he was, quote, the only one. Unlikely that he's the only one. Like, how can you even verify that? And why would anyone defend this at all?
Yeah, like the only one that you know of for sure.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's fine. It's just one. It's just like, you know.
Like, we should aim for 0. Is that
Yeah.
so hard?
No, yeah. Yes. Apparently it is, though. Apparently it is. I don't know.
What do you think about this, Alexa?
But my God, I just listened this, and it's not the first time that we heard like so much stuff like that, and I'm just like wondering like where will be the end of line of the wokeism and this movement that we see happening all around I would say G7 mostly, because I didn't really see that in Africa or like in most of South America. It's mostly like happening in US, UK, here, and Germany, some place like that like really like wokeism that is everywhere, and it take over all, and everything doesn't make sense what they try to approach with like this transgender like charity Mermaid. What is that? Like, it's actually, for me, it's going to cross a line at one point that I will like I'm not tolerating like all this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Too slow.
Yeah.
Too slow.
Yeah, it's like, I totally agree, Alexa. Like, how far is wokeism going to get before everyone is like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Too late.
Like, our society is filled with degenerates, and it's becoming socially acceptable to do whatever the hell you want for the sake of inclusivity and acceptance. And
even if you're putting children
and women
in harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I will be called a bigot every day. This is the hill to die on, I think, especially as women. I mean, where are my feminists at? You know, I'd love to see some of them speak out against this, but at least J.K. Rowling is, and she's not afraid, and I really respect that about her.
Yeah, she has what they call FU money.
Yeah.
So she's good.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's what I was asking to some politician the other day, and I was like, what? Because it was like a politician from the right, and I say like, what is your concern about the fact that now school is introducing like the left and the wokeism into their own children, like just like, and now the next future generation will be way more on the left probably than on the right, because if the school is beginning to introduce that, this is my like maybe a fear that now we enter in the new society of extreme left.
Yeah. Well, you only ever hear the term extreme right, like far right, and the right tries to use the term extreme left, but it's like, where's the right?
Yeah.
Like, if we're extreme right because we care about children not getting raped, like that's extreme right. Like, what is right?
Aaron O'Toole. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, it's just wet sock
It's
conservatives.
just a wet sock.
Like,
Yeah.
but I don't even think they exist.
No, there's only far right, and then whatever the left is moral and
Which
good.
they think is center.
Yeah, which is
all the
center.
left.
Yeah, exactly. They're just a bunch of clowns. All right, we got another ad break here, folks. If we could pull that up.
Let's pull her up.
Let's pull her up.
The values. You look at Western values in Western society, and these are values we could all relate to, but they're old world values of grit and community and perseverance.
It's a place where you can make a living with your back and your hands and a little bit of hard work. And it's a place of opportunity. And I think as Albertans, we're fiercely protective of that.
The world's energy crisis has been grabbing newspaper headlines. In a nutshell, we're running short of petroleum resources and the prices are zooming upwards.
My colleagues in the government and I have come reluctantly to believe that the price of oil in Canada must go up.
This was Alberta.
Origin of the Alberta separatist movement begins with the election of Pierre Trudeau as Prime Minister.
It was a deliberate and malicious targeting of the West, which suited Pierre Trudeau just fine, just like it suits Justin Trudeau just fine.
Sunny ways, my friends.
Blackface.
There is an actual hostile government towards Alberta.
Why did your dad give everyone in Western Canada the middle finger?
Really, in politics, you do have to make big decisions, and whenever you make big decisions, there's going to be people who agree with it and people who don't disagree with it.
Plenty of people want to leave this country.
It's not the kind of idea you'd expect to hear from someone who wants to win power and hold power. It is a radical idea.
And you would normalize the discussion, and so maybe Alberta wouldn't have to go, because maybe the rest of the country and the rest of the world would say, whoa, don't go. Will you accept these changes instead? That's what happened for Quebec.
There's no maple leafs west of the Manitoba border. Why do we have a maple leaf by unilateral decision on the Canadian flag?
Think of how the American colonists were in 1775. That's how a lot of Albertans are today.
That made me want to buy a cowboy hat.
Yeah, but I was just looking at that, and I was just like questioning myself about the fact that if one day we see Alberta getting their independence and just like being on their own side, that would hurt Canada like 100 million of time, and it's like Quebec, you know, like it have been too big reform for the sovereignty, and it didn't pass, but because Quebec had nothing to win. Yeah, of course, like we have electricity, but in the same time, yeah, but in the same time, our debt is really high, and we receive, like, yes, we give to the government of federal, but yes, we receive too. So it's like a good exchange. But in Alberta, they have the fossil fuel, like, and they have the petrol, and they have like really important stores.
So many resources that the rest of Canada needs. Yep.
And so I'm a little bit in the fear that maybe they ask for a reform and see if they want to be sovereignist and just like leave.
Yeah, I think if you don't live in Alberta, you don't want that to happen. No, right? No. Please don't go. We need your beef.
No,
but please go to albertadocumentary.com today to buy your tickets. 3 screenings. I believe they're on October 12th, October 19th, October 30th in Calgary and Edmonton. And tickets are super affordable, you guys. And you're supporting Rebel News, which we know you love to do. So
you love to do it. And we also want to plug Rebel Live that is coming back.
Yay!
Woohoo! It's starting in late November with your favorite Rebels and special guest speakers. And the speakers are not nailed down yet, so we can't name names yet.
But stay tuned.
Because Rebel Live is fun. I've actually never been to one because I started during the pandemic and we weren't allowed to do them then. But I've heard that they're a hoot and a holler, and you get to meet your favorite Rebels. You get to see some speakers, and it's something to do. You know, you get out, you meet some like-minded people. It's a night. It's a date.
Yeah,
right?
and there's 2 dates so far at the end of November. One's going to be in Toronto and one's going to be in Calgary. So there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Something for everyone.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
All right, so more to come on that, so stay tuned. But we should move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So,
yay!
The Liberal government confesses to $105 million World Economic Forum digital ID contract.
Alexa, you're so shocked.
Oh,
no one saw this coming.
I'm not talking about it since many months. That we had the proof. It was on the website of the government. And if you want, like, yes, of course, like Dr. Leslie Lewis, I think it's her that you feel like an access to information. Now we know that Omar Al-Gabra is the one that signed for the funding. But as well, if we come back to the budget, I think it was in 2021, I think it's Blair Kane who actually speak out and say, like, what is this funding of $105 million over 5 years to a project that's called the Non-Digital Traveler Identity? And when I Google it, that brings me to the World Economic Forum. And it was just asking questions that the question was not answering back. So yes, he called it out, but it just because I dig it and I found back the excerpt of this video that I say, oh, but they did talk about it, and nobody, no journalist, nobody took it back and asked questions to Justin Trudeau or to Omar Agabra. No, but the role of a journalist is like to hear something like that have no answer to it and push it to have answer.
Well, not when you're getting millions of dollars from the government. Why would you?
It's up to you, Alexa.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Should we play this clip?
Let's play her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to ask my colleague, he brought up tourism, and I want to talk to him about air travel. In page 74 of the budget, there is an announcement of $105 million over 5 years for something known as the Known Traveler Digital Identity pilot project. A Google search of Known Traveler Digital Identity takes us to the World Economic Forum document, which is called the Known Traveler Digital Identity Concept, which is talking about things like attestations of citizenship, educational degrees, and so on, including vaccination for viral disease. I'm wondering if my colleague could expand on just what the government is investing tax dollars for on this front. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to ask my colleague.
Sorry. Yeah. It was the Blaine Corkin. Sorry, I messed up your name. I'm sorry for you.
Sorry, but thank you for your work.
It was signed in 2018. And in the project, you heard it about the proof of medical vaccination.
Yeah.
But it was signed in 2018.
That's very sinister.
It's creepy.
It's very creepy. I mean, obviously, this is such a slippery slope. This is the introduction of a social credit system. Obviously, I mean, that's the only explanation.
That's the thing.
for
Like
it.
conspiracy nuts have been talking about this for years because of what we see going on in China, and you'll always get gaslit about it every time. It's like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? It's like it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
And we've known about these things because of investigative journalism like Alexa's been doing, but now it's actually in writing from the government that they're like,
yeah, they're not even hiding it. And how do you stop this from happening? Because the government doesn't seem to care if Canadians are for or against things. They just do whatever the hell they want. And when the World Economic Forum is involved, well, you know, it's going to happen. So what do we do to combat this?
I worry that lots of Canadians are on board with this because like we know 80% of Canadians got vaccinated, which fine, your choice. But I feel like of that 80%, a large majority of them would be like, well, yeah, I want to know easily and quickly and effectively that when I'm on a plane, the person sitting next to me is also vaccinated for whatever. And I think the government will pose it like it's about convenience. Like, do you want to stand in line and show papers? Do you want? It's like, oh, you just do it on your phone. Everything's so easy.
Or
but
if you lose your physical ID cards, now it's on your phone.
Yeah,
it's
so
all there.
They make it sound like it's all about convenience, which in a way it is, but it's also about authority and tracking you. But like that sounds so conspiratorial. So I genuinely think that the majority of Canadians, maybe just 60%, but that's the majority, would be like, yeah, I'm down. Because they don't understand the implications and they're not scared.
Yeah.
Which they should be.
Yeah. But like when we know that something is going on and we show it, and when we know that now it's not a conspiracy theory anymore, and we are the only one to talk about it now as like Leslie Lewis, why no mainstream is touching that subject, that it's involved $105 million. It's not just like $10. It's $1 $105 million of taxpayer money for something that costs how many tickets of thousands and thousands of dollars for Canadians. So example, okay, me. My money is going to that project, but when I come back to Canada, I've been fined $6,000 because I didn't want it to download this app.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that I understand that the mainstream media is beholden to the feds, but this is going to affect these people too on an individual level. Like, let's say they implement this system and then it goes full-blown communist China on us. Like, they do one wrong thing, they're going to be implicated by this as well. It's like, this is going to affect all Canadians. So it's shocking that even that they wouldn't even maybe think about the implications on a personal and selfish level. Go for it, guys. Like, just reflect on it.
I think they think it's tinfoil hat. Like, I feel like people like that have so much faith in the government that big daddy government is actually there to protect them. And they're like, well, there could be, nefarious implications, but that's not what the government intends. They want to do good. It's like, I don't think everyone in the government is evil. I just think when the government is so large, evil is inevitable. Yeah. Like with, great power and whatever. It's just like play it forward. Every time we've seen socialism enacted, it always turns to death and murder and piles of bodies. That's always how it is. So but when we do, it's going to be different. It's going to be totally cool, man. Like, no, but they have so much faith in this, which is like, it's optimistic, but it's stupid and it's misguided and it's naive.
Yeah.
All right, we got another clip here with everyone's favorite Prime Minister, Trudeau.
Oh, we love him.
We love him.
I love him so much.
But there is another important issue that is on Canadians' minds, particularly Canadians' women's minds as we meet here. If it were not for global news, we would not have learned that the Conservative leader has been purposefully using his videos to appeal to far-right misogynistic online movements. These are anti-women movements, and they have had devastating real-life consequences. Mr. Speaker, I call on the Conservative leader to stand in this House, take responsibility, and apologize.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I'll apologize when you apologize. That's what Pierre should say. It's rich.
So self-congratulatory, right? Like, this is the biggest issue. They won't stop. Just let him give him your answer.
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I condemned this organization, and I corrected the problem as soon as it became known to me, Mr. Speaker. But I condemn all forms of misogyny, including when the Prime Minister fired the very first female Indigenous Attorney General.
They should have beers.
Mistreated minority young women in his own caucus who had to leave politics, and I condemn him for when he dressed up in racist costumes so many times he forgot them all. We condemn it always, Mr. Speaker.
That's an interesting one for sure.
The thing is, Trudeau, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Come on.
That's what you do as a politician. You have to be a hypocrite.
I guess so.
You literally can't not be.
It's the number one requirement.
Yeah. So we were talking about
I was just
sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking, at that moment when Justin Trudeau was saying that, I just picture myself, his small hamster saying my money is really well invested in mainstream media.
Yeah, thanks to global news, we never would have known.
We never have known that. But in the same time, how many politicians who is not touching any social media, and it's all people who do the management of it. It's really hard. Now it's all the fault of Pierre Poilievre. I don't know if he knew or not. I'm not in his head, but probably he did give the management to a team, and probably that person in the team was maybe a misogynist or something like that. Yeah. And now it's just like it's been a long time ago, and now they are attacking him on this. It's like Eric Duhem when they came back on this tax that he didn't pay. Like, it's been a long time ago. Like,
they're kind of grasping at straws.
Yeah, but I would even argue,
know,
like,
it's just-
why can't you speak to people? Like, what if Pierre Poilievre knowingly included that hashtag because he's like, listen, I want to reach MGTOW people because I have a message for them. And I want them to see content that's, like, uplifting and honorable. Like, I'm
but
throwing
it's not
it out
even
there.
necessarily reaching people a part of the movement. Maybe someone's searching for MGTOW because on YouTube because they want to learn more about why it's bad and why it's something that should be criticized. Like, we've talked about it on Misunderstood before, and when I uploaded the free version to YouTube, I tagged our video with that because I'm like, well, maybe people want to learn more about this, and we're criticizing it. We're not
and
in favor of it.
One of our producers mentioned it wasn't just on one video, it was on all of them. So yes, he's trying to, or his group is trying to speak to this particular movement. But why is that bad? Why can't they, like, again, why is it bad to speak to people who are disenfranchised and angry? They have terrible views.
They can still vote.
Yeah, but you might even change their minds with positive messaging. Like, if he's a family man, he's not MGTOW. Men going their own way. That's not what he is. So he has a wife, he has children. Maybe he's like, listen, Pete, like, just like Jordan Peterson gets criticized all the time of being an incel when he's married with children too. It's like, maybe he's trying to talk to young, angry, disenfranchised young men to try and make them less of those things. But that's not okay. You can't target those people. Why? Why?
And the fact is, it's a hashtag. It's not the content.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
The video.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that would be different.
It's just a target.
Example, like Justin Trudeau do the opposite, like is discriminate and polarize and
exactly.
Be really bad.
Make them
in the
feel even
content,
more
but he's not putting
secluded.
in the hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. Like, isolate them even more from society.
I wonder what Justin Trudeau's YouTube videos are tagged, like, anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean he's an anti-vaxxer.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't know what his videos are tagged. This is all presumption.
That
but
Justin Trudeau would do something like that because he would want to capture the audience of his opposition to be like, hey, anti-vaxxers, you guys are anti-science. Let me show you all these things. Like, wouldn't that make sense? No, he's just going to completely ignore that entire group of people and let them get more and more radicalized. That makes no
just
sense to
like
me.
Justin Trudeau's hair. That's what he's tagged. No.
Smiles and lip gloss.
Yeah. All right.
Grasping at straws.
We have another ad break here before we get into some more Kanye West.
Ooh.
For those who are just listening to the audio, that was a Misunderstood ad. It was just Kat and I dancing in various Misunderstood merchandise. So go to misunderstoodmerch.com, check out some of our beautiful merch. You can use Misunderstood 10 for 10% off your first purchase. It's great merch. Even Alexa wears our merch, so that means it's cool, right?
Obviously, if Alexa's wearing it, it's cool.
It's cool
because she has street cred. I also want to mention, though, if I was single living in the city, I would be wearing those T-shirts like abort government or the definition of female, just for a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Like, you want to meet a guy who's like-minded? Wear one of those shirts.
Especially the climate one. The only climate crisis is how hot I am. And
like,
what if he's like, yeah, you are,
babe.
You
and
know?
then you're married with children in 3 years. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
And it's because of us.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right. This has been good. Speaking of style icons, Kanye West, we got a video. We're just going to play a bit of it.
Yeah, we won't play that.
Take it away.
And a friend of mine told me that Chris and Kim had called him because he had influence inside of the black community, and had called him to say, to get him to influence people to take the vaccination. And I don't have an opinion on that. I just want to state that as a flat statement. But it was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, you know, I didn't realize it at the time.
That you were married to her?
And well, I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
I mean, cell phone away, like, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away. I mean, not away, but like take the away part, but you know.
Do you feel like at times you were manipulated by political forces through your wife?
Attempt manipulation. But yes, there was some manipulation. Me not saying I like Trump was a form of a manipulation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Why did you like him, by the way? You said you liked him early, like you saw him in...
I mean, I keep telling this joke. If people say Trump was the first black president, I'm going to be the first Latino president, because all the values, the conservative values just line up. Come on, man, Trump's the what do you mean? He has his own buildings. What are you talking about? He's like Ralph Lauren. He made Ivanka.
That's hilarious.
You like Ivanka?
Yeah.
They should get...
You wrote a post on Instagram about her husband today.
Yeah, you know...
He's trying to get with Ivanka.
I had a dinner with Ivanka, Jared, and Josh. And a couple days later, I found out that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which is a line that I had developed with Kim. And I had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims. I felt like there's a lot of imagery that was overly sexualized and things that I wouldn't want to see my wife and definitely not my daughters doing in the future in order to sell product. But it reaches another level when it's like, okay, well, this is what my wife is doing, and this is what they're doing this is what she's doing for our children. But it reaches another level when her business partners are selling pieces of the company that they don't have to, because the company's already so successful and it's an internet-based company. So it's like they're really just selling off the company in order to create more relationships for themselves that are unneeded. It's like when I went to the Gap and with our release, they just like, they shoveled it out. I'm very cautious with my words. I'm really big on being able to have an adult conversation in front of the children. So I don't use explicit language in interviews especially. So I found out after this dinner.
I could watch this all day.
Me too.
Personally, but
yeah, me too. It's really
interesting. He's so captivating.
Yeah, he is. I just want to say, like, I love Kanye and I'm on his team, but it's so weird that he is surprised by the sexualization that Kim promotes in herself and her vanity and everything. It's like that. She got famous off of a sex tape. She's always been an icon of sex. You married her because she was sexy.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I don't like that she uses that. It's like, that's, I mean, he
the
kind of
problem
mentions
is, he changed and she didn't.
Yeah,
like,
but that's one of the things we talk about in marriage. Don't expect your partner to change.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because it's obviously a value difference, because he's now a professing Christian and she's obviously not. And I'm sure that that's probably something he's really struggling with.
He was hoping that she would align with his values more. But I guess it's kind of sweet, but it was super naive of him to marry basically a porn star.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, why is she using her body to sell things? Like,
I think the inclusion of children, though, in her brand is, I don't appreciate that.
Right, and now that she's a mother, maybe it would be like, well, now that I'm a mother, I put that behind me and I try to present myself differently, which she does not at all.
Yeah. What are your takes on Kim Kardashian, Alexa?
But first of all, like most of the celebrity who actually grew up in sexualization or of their body, we can talk about Britney Spears, that she's still like using it on her social media. Kim Kardashian will be the same. It's like the influence of the society that they grow up, like the influence of what is surrounding them. And I think they take a lot of the opinion of people who they consider higher level. Like, I was really not kind of surprised, but I saw that Kanye was kind of really concerned about the fact that he said that he don't have any opinion, but I'm not sure that is true, about the fact that she was promoting the vaccination. And that was coming from Clinton. And I'm just like, this is actually another example of the influence of other people in the, how you say it, I say it réseau, but like
Hollywood,
the
inner circle.
The Hollywood, like surrounding, like, oh, you should do that, this is good. You like trying to influence the decision of someone. And I think that it's not very surprising from someone who kind of grew by the influence of what she heard and what she had been told to do and what she should do for being capable to perform and being big.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
kind of like
And
puppets.
now, yeah, and it's kind of sad because we see that Kenny is just really, really concerned about it, because it's just like, well, who is my wife?
Yeah. I want to know what would happen if, I mean, Kim's allegedly friends with the Clintons. What would happen if she was like, no, I'm not going to promote the vaccine. I'm not going to speak poorly about Trump. Like what would happen? Like, why are the Clintons using her as a prop, so to speak? It's very fascinating, and it deserves
Well,
thorough
I wonder if
investigation.
they would be so tight.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, politics is, you know, spending money on those signs for your lawns and canvassing, and it's basically outreach and networking. So what better way to do that than to have one of the most popular people on the planet?
She's arguably the most famous person on the planet.
Other than us.
Other than us.
Yeah. So what's more effective?
And to come back to one of your video, girls, about are you going to take political advice from a celebrity? No, because most of them have conflicts of interest or influenced by other, and some of them have been paid to promote certain view.
Yeah.
So no, for me, it's just like we have this perfect example.
Yeah.
We cannot trust like a perfect, not biased view.
Yeah. No, it's so true, because they're not free thinkers. They're literally beholden to whoever is lining their pockets, I guess. It's good. Don't listen to celebrities, but do listen to Misunderstood, which airs every Tuesday on Rebel News Plus at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
We're not celebrities, so you can listen to us.
Please listen to us. We're not famous at all.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we have a few minutes left here. Should we just quickly talk about ArriveCAN? Because Alexa, you love the ArriveCAN app.
Oh yeah. So it was really interesting to see how much they paid, $54 million, when they say that most of the app costs to build about $1 million. Yes. So we can see that this app have something else behind it. If it's $54 million, probably because it's linked or related to something bigger behind that is built and we don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
Because $54 million, it's 54 more time than a regular app.
Yeah. And then they also go on to say that people also question why the government did not turn directly to Canadian app developers rather than 23 separate contractors and an unknown number of additional subcontractors. It's very nefarious.
It's very sus.
Like it's a Canadian app. It's ArriveCAN. It's not rocket science.
No.
Like, we could learn how to program something like that. Well, maybe not us, but someone could do it relatively fast. It's like Alexa's saying,
and for cheaper.
$54 million and 23 contractors and an unknown number of Why? Why are you guys being so sketch?
Yeah, it's super sketch. And we know that ArriveCAN was such a hindrance to airports as well. So it's like they spent all this money and it
now
was
it's
just
done.
now it's over, and it was just super inconvenient for everybody. I don't know. Makes no sense. And yet Marco Mendicino defends the decision to spend this amount of money.
And my question is that they say that your data is so safe with 23 contractor and subcontractor. Oh yeah, we will not have leak of your
there's
data.
not a single
No
leak.
worry.
No way. Yeah, that's the thing. If it was one Canadian company that they were like, okay, anything goes wrong, anything's leaked,
you can hold them to account.
Yeah, exactly. They're accountable. But with this, it's like, well, there's an unknown number of subcontractors, probably foreign, like.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Not me, I'll tell you that.
Only
right
God
now.
knows. Well, guys, I think that pretty well wraps things up here. Thank you all for tuning in to the Rebel News Daily Livestream. As you know, this is every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Rumble, Getter, Odyssey. I think that's it. Rebelnews.com, of course. It's a new host every week, every day, and usually on Fridays, it's us.
Yeah.
So see you guys next Friday, maybe?
Yeah, probably. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, go eat some turkeys. Any final words,
in
Alexa?
French is bonne action grâce.
Oh, I can't say that, but thank you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
How would that make you feel? And then after talking to them, and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler right then. They love to just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen. So when I think about all of these things that Jared, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work. And what is it? His work in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like...
I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything on their own. I think they were born into money. And for me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been, beat, kicked, lost everything, said to have lost my mind, went from pull myself up by my boots don't have straps on them, but I say pull myself up from my boots to becoming a multi-billionaire that gets the price every year of my net worth goes down every year on Forbes. They just keep on slowly just taking it down every year. It's like really a weird thing. But as a person that has really built something from nothing, when I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And it makes me feel like they weren't serving my boy, Trump, the way we could have, because,